Hello and welcome to another episode in my Mortal Realms series. In this episode, we're going to be building and painting our castigators, plus painting the Gryph-hound and
Eventually.
and the Sequitors. So stay tuned. So before we get started, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it so you don't miss an episode when you get those notifications. Also, plenty of links down below for social media and some great groups down there. There's the Chilling Network website as well, and plenty of ways to support this channel if you wish to. So without further ado, let's get building and painting, shall we?
Okay, so before we get started, I just need to let you guys know that it has been a while since I've recorded this, and as such I've lost half of the footage where I went through the tools you need, which is of course the marline remover, clippers and plastic glue if you wish to use it, but you don't need to use it, and also what my aim was to do. So of course familiarize yourself with the instructions, follow the numbers on the sprue to the pieces and build it like that. But I wanted to explore a way of changing the position of the head, which is a lot more trickier with this set because the base of the heads have got specifically molded shapes that fit perfectly in the slots, so you can trim them down bit by bit just to practice, and then you just dry fit it to make sure that it fits before you stick anything together. And I did use the plastic glue to hold the pieces together just so that the head wouldn't slip out, and as you'll find, I managed to reposition the head as well as I could, and it turned out all right.
So there you have it. It's pretty easy to build, just kind of like the Sequitors. All these push fit are quite good, but it is key to make sure that you do trim those pins just slightly to help make sure that you don't have any large gaps between the pieces. Now let's get down to the painting part.
Okay, so now we get into the painting part. So this, I've done a few things just to show the variations in the effects that you can achieve. So of course you're going to need your Retributor armor and your Corax White. You're going to need 2 pots of fresh water, and I'll explain that in a minute. You're also going to need a variety of brushes as well, just to speed up the process. So you can use any old beat up brush as long as it's a bit larger, and yeah, instead of using a starter brush, it's going to take too long to do it with a starter brush. So here I've got my large basin, medium basin, large dry brush, and also you're going to need some sort of palette as well. So with the castigators, as you can see, they're already kind of goldish. This is what badly spraying white. This is what badly spraying Retributor armor looks like. I didn't shake it well enough, so the one on the left came out a bit thicker than the one on the right, but as you can see, it's done most of the work for me. If I had shaken it long enough, I should have shook it a bit longer. So if you're using a spray, make sure you shake it twice, shake it 3 times, shake it even longer. These ones were already in gold plastic, but as you can see the difference between the left and the right one not being sprayed and the left one being sprayed, you can see that the color is quite different still. In order to get a uniform finish, what we're going to want to do is do a layer on all of those that have been sprayed, just to tie them all in, but it also fills in any gaps that were missed by the spray. So before that, we'll get to the Gryph-hound, which of course you need to paint in Corax White. So you want to get some on your palette and a little bit of water just to thin it down. And while you're painting it, if you do see any thick bits of paint, or if you feel like it's pooling too much, you can just spread it around with your brush and just make sure you get a nice consistent layer. Also make sure that you close your pots properly as well, because you don't want your paint to dry out. So we will be doing a couple of layers, actually 3 layers with this, just like we did with the Nighthaunt. I typically start from the top and work my way down to the base. It is a bit strange that they're asking you to paint the base the same colour, but you got to remember that these colours are going to act as if you were using a primer, so it's giving the rest of the paint that you use later something to hold on to, so it still holds onto the plastic. So you carry on with that, and then once you have done a whole layer on your Gryph-hound, then you can move on to the Retributor armor. So make sure that you rinse that brush very well. Then use a separate brush to do the Retributor armor. Again, very little water. You don't want to, because metallic paints, they split quite easily, so you need even littler water to water it down. And then you just paint it on, and as you see, I'm using a very large brush because I wanted to get it done quickly, and I've got a lot more models to paint with this color. So make sure you do that well. And when you're painting the gold plastic, you need to be very careful and methodical when painting it, because it's very easy to miss areas because it's already in gold. So work from each section. Go from, like, for example, paint all of the shield, then paint all of one arm, then paint the head, and so on and so forth. And that way you can check off a mental checklist of where you have already painted, so you don't miss any bits and just have bare gold. Plastic underneath. And here's the result. So on the left is the sprayed one, on the right is the hand painted one. Once you've done all those, the first layer of white paint on your Gryph-hound should have dried, so then you apply a second one, and as you see, there's difference already. Then you can move on to doing another layer on your Stormcast. As you can see, I used a smaller brush this time just to get into the little gaps that the large brush can reach to. And then once you've done that, the third layer for your Gryph-hound, and you'll see the difference there as well. And here you go. A little bit shaky, I do apologise for that, but as you can see, all of the gold armour looks pretty much the same, so it worked out pretty well.
And there you have it. So it's really simple at the moment. It's all about just getting those base layers down to help bond the rest of the paints that you'll be putting on later, and lays out a lot of the groundwork. Now it does seem a bit counterproductive to also paint those bases, but you got to remember that without paint on those bases already, when you go to put other colours on, it's going to take longer to build those layers up for them to bond to that plastic. As always, another way of doing this is to spray it with a primer, and that will save a lot of the painting. So let's move on to what you lot have been doing in your community focus. And there you have it. So some amazing work out there from the community, Thank you so much for participating and sending in your pictures. I hope that everyone enjoyed that and you get some great inspiration for your projects. Always don't feel rushed or pressured to go straight to the end like some people have. They obviously know what they're going to do, and this series will build up the colors gradually, so you'll learn different techniques and use different colors as you go along. So it's all about the practice that they put in this series. Anyway, I'll leave it there. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.